There we go. Yeah, yeah. Just mentioned we have a flag on the play for a false start. I hit start streaming before we had switched the title in game. So with the intro play this time.
All right.
What they said.
Well, the fate is now awakened. We are ready to go.
The one clip in there of Ariel kind of sitting like knees on the floor with kind of covered in blood is actually from the route we didn't see, and that's when the demons invade Celestia. And if you do her route, then there's actually a scene where she has to defend herself, and it's the first time she's killed anybody and stuff like that.
Right. But we chose the Jupi route, so that
Right.
did not happen.
It didn't happen.
All right. There are, I believe, was it 15 chapters?
That's what Lorax said.
Yeah. So it is entirely possible this may be the final stream.
I'd imagine so, yeah. We've been getting 2 of them per stream, basically.
This place. From what I recall, this world is...
Last time we cracked open Letitia's core, but then she just completely continued to run roughshod.
Right.
Successfully infiltrated our target.
Yeah. Ariel, I want to confirm one more time how to stop Letitia.
Lorax says that there's a Chinese female basketball player named Shouting, which is the coolest name ever. Also, hey there, Lorax and Hien.
And Hien. What about the other routes? There's only the 2.
Inside the spirit world, there should be a part that
Unfortunately.
we would call her core, which forms Letitia's personality. If you destroy it, this world would lose its foundation, and you will be able to defeat the vile god Letitia.
It turns out Letitia was a giant clam
Having to
golem.
cooperate with an angel. There's no decency left in the world.
Positively shameful.
If that is what life has come to, we would be much better off if we just
Dude.
went extinct.
Oh, well, once Letitia dies, we'll just go back to exterminating the angels.
Hooray!
Exterminates the netherworld. Celestia will finally have a chance of winning. However, why is Lady Mariel?
This is a metaphor for the American political system.
Such a foolish display.
Working with the Republicans, we'd be better off going extinct.
The Democrats were all dead. We have an hour away.
Welcome to my court. I welcome you, Shin Kamikaze. However, it looks like there are 2 existences who are in the way that have tagged along with you.
What were those voices just now? Are you trying to harass us or something?
Also, as an aside, the idea of Letitia having a core which forms her personality is actually kind of a neat one. It actually makes me think of Exalted, where you had fetish souls, which were basically the core personality of a deity or a primordial.
Right.
And killing that could completely change the personality.
Mm-hmm.
So, just something I was thinking of while this was going on.
No, I just wanted to show you a slice of truth.
Remember, a slice of truth is 30
Because
cents
you
to add to your
still
Big
don't
Mac.
really understand the spirit world thoroughly enough. So let me explain it to you.
Oh
She doesn't
dear.
understand
In the
anything.
spirit world,
We are ready for more
various
exposition.
projections
Go!
I got my
of
exposition
ethereal
boots on.
entities are joined and shared, regardless of whether they're alive or dead. It is the place that rules all fates, and where all souls return to. That is the true identity of the world where gods lend their powers.
Huh.
Infiltrating the spirit world can also be considered a form of attack, since you would be forcibly changing the consciousness itself. I tried pulling out a portion of the voices that reside within the spirit world. They are still ugly. After teaming up, they continue to argue.
Hien linked us to a picture of Zap Brannigan. I hate these filthy neutrals. Hey, Zane.
Hey, Zane.
Thanks to the host, Zane.
And you've got animes.
Why are you teaching me something like that?
Yeah, it
What's
is
the point
interesting
of all
that it
this?
seems like Letitia originally tried
You
to
are
change
an
the spirit
existence who
world,
deserves to
and
be of
realizing
the
that
God
didn't work,
that
said, okay, you
awakens
squash it
souls.
flat, start again.
It will be troubling if you lack that knowledge.
Much like the
Do you really
playing
think I'd
populace
join your
metaphor.
rally? If I just destroy the core right here, you'll be
Hey,
done.
kids.
Do you really think you drove me into this corner? Nope. The ones who are cornered are you guys.
No, ooh.
This is not a simple lesson. I also hope to prove to you that I can access your spirit worlds.
that is a good point. Yeah.
I can attack your spirit worlds at any time and kill you all.
Even worse, you'll probably be assimilating them, given how that works.
What?
Or at least able to change them however she wants.
Right.
What was that just now?
Now do you understand? Here, your mental spirits lie in the palm of my hand, meaning I
Mental
possess
spirit.
the power over life.
Actually, that's a pretty solid
I see.
Platonic theory.
Then do it.
Where basically someone's genius was actually seen as being extrinsic to themselves.
Miss Aria,
Right.
Or someone that they
if
could
you let
actually
her
talk
do
with.
something like that, come on, try killing us. Juby and I have been especially bothersome for you, right? Why don't you
is
just
why we're glad
hurry
to have
up
somebody
and
smart
kill
along.
us?
Huh.
I see.
Bluff called.
It's just as I thought. It's not that you won't do it, but you can't do it.
Dad smug.
What do you mean?
Shin, don't pay any attention to her. Hurry up and aim for the center of the core. She's merely stalling for time.
Stalling for time? Why?
Obviously, so she
years.
can destroy the seal of the magic circle. She talks all cool and high and mighty, but she's too busy to even intercept us.
What a selfish imagination. How displeasing.
She ran away? Now is definitely our chance. On the other hand, we won't get any more opportunities if we lose to her now.
Plus, it'll all be
Let's
dead.
hurry.
Right.
We gotta hurry up and defeat Letitia.
So now that we finally have a second to reply, we're doing pretty good, Zane. A little tired from hanging out with family out in the summer heat yesterday, but
Mission 14. The sound of fate shutting.
here's the sound of fate opening again.
Let us proceed.
Oh, and
Just straight to the dungeon. Well, all right then. Yeah, if we have to sit through another 45 minutes of exposition, I think we're good to go on finishing the stream today.
unfortunately, I only have the one CP to go with, so...
Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough, I guess.
a
So
slasher.
that- I've got a lot of stuff to sell or put away.
Mhm. Which one's better, Sunrod or Moonrod? Sun by one, it looks like.
I think so, yeah.
I detect a sun bias in this game. It was fun, Zane. Just a lot of running. A lot taking care of a 4-year-old out in like 85-degree weather with lots of humidity. So
Yeah, that part was not fun.
I think the funniest thing was we decided to get her a cake because we missed her birthday party at the end of July, and actually did pretty much exactly 2 weeks ago. And so where she thought it was for her again, which it kind of was. It was kind of for us, kind of for her.
Right.
So she was running around singing happy birthday to herself.
And And apparently, during her birthday party, she was actually basically trying to cajole people into talking about her and things like that. Yeah, she is a trip. Kite shield. Oh, that wouldn't be too bad, actually.
50 isn't bad, yeah. Actually, that's quite a jump considering you've got, what, 300 or so HP now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm actually kind of thinking about getting that. 10,000 is a fair bit.
Yeah, that's true. Guess we'll see how much I have left over after upgrading.
Right. Yep, usual remarkable revive.
Yep, exit.
Exit.
Not that you've needed to do a single round. Well, we redid one dungeon really early on to kind of give Mog a rundown of how the game worked.
Yeah.
I think that was about it.
Okay, let's do the item boost.
Stick with the crystal. I'd do something else as a base and add the crystal sword to it, because they've all got two. They've all got 2 slots.
Yeah, the slasher would be the best one, unless there is a base better one here. But I'm not sure if there was. It's 11. It's working.
No.
Yeah, so I'll just use the slasher for that.
Pretty good weapon to wrap things up with, I think.
Right. To kill with.
Nice.
Not bad.
It's a pretty beastly looking weapon too.
And then, let's see, that is base 17. Did they have a better one?
Might have. Oh yeah.
Kite shield.
Actually, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that starts out. It's basically only a +3 bonus, though.
Right.
So
Probably still worth it though.
Well, that would be 7,000 at least to start out with.
And probably another 15k or so to upgrade it.
Right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just item boost what I've got.
Sure.
Here.
Because the court shield is pretty fancy schmancy.
Right.
Keep in mind, yeah, you don't want to do those too many times because of how the weird formula works in this game.
Unfortunately, it looks like I can't really upgrade much of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they did the formula this way. It really incentivizes you to go back and do to farm early dungeons for like +1 or 2 baseball bats that only cost a couple hundred crystals to upgrade, and then you Voltron those into your strongest weapon. That way you only have to pay the higher upgrade cost once.
And meanwhile, I don't think there's actually anything I can upgrade, which is kind of sad.
All right. What was the EC gem? That was like more...
It increased the amount of EC I get.
Okay. That's definitely like a post-game thing if you're needing to do more, just getting more of that so you can afford more stuff.
So my base HP is 140.
Oh wow, it's even less than that. So yeah, you're actually getting about a 33% increase on HP with the Stalwart ring.
So yeah, I think I will go ahead and get that.
Yeah, that's gonna be worth way more for your longevity than the
+5 attack.
Or bonus to your defense,
right.
Rather.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Not to mention too, with more of a, you'll have more of a buffer for fights too.
Right.
Because we'll be able to take an extra hit or two. Medkit mediums are 100?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Equip this with... I'm not really worried about splitting things.
Yeah.
So I think I will go ahead and go with...
What's agility again?
Just against fast.
Oh, the hasted guys, yeah.
Right. So I think I will take soften.
Sure.
Actually, let's go with weaken. Alright, looks pretty good.
Yeah. Your fire sword and your ice shield. Well, of course, crystal shield, but yeah.
Alright, now we save, and then it's off to go.
Off to go.
Off to go. With the sound of fate shutting. Alright. 10 floors.
As always.
As always.
Oh, hey, Mariel's there now.
Oh, I think that's the first time we've seen her here.
Yeah. And she does still exist. Interesting little filter over this thing, too. Well, he's definitely a good town on that guy, then, yeah. Priorities, dude. I'd rather go after him.
Yeah, that was weird.
Right.
Oh well.
Oh, also, yeah, because the amount of HP you get with each step is a percentage. Getting more HP is good, too.
You should all turn your phone off.
It's on vibrate.
Even still.
Well, behind the mic, the ball wouldn't have heard anything if you hadn't said anything.
I'm referring more from me, so that it doesn't distract me.
Nag. Okay.
There we go.
Devil Dactyl.
Oh dear. But yeah, the other thing that I was thinking of... What? It gets an attack right there. Aggravating. Oh yeah, because it's this way, they actually can't attack around corners, whereas in a lot of dungeons you can't.
Right.
Yeah, my other thought... Oh, great. Yeah, my other thought was that since the HP increases are also percentage base, increasing that should increase them too.
Yeah. That one definitely hurt.
There we are. Yeah, the encounter rate in this game, in this particular level, is pretty absurd.
I'm guessing they're giving you a chance to make sure you're leveled up, or you're caught up on levels for the final battle.
That could be.
Either that or it's just a typical JRPG thing of you have to run a gauntlet before you can get to the last boss.
Yeah, and I agree with Hien. The new sword looks much more appropriate for Devil Force.
Oh yeah.
Welp.
Huh.
Welcome to floor 2.
That's a thing.
Ah, that could be useful. Yeah, 100 damage per swat. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't know how much if the rest of you have ever had this kind of thing happen, but there's been a couple games where, I know the last one that comes to mind was I tried playing Lunar Eternal Blue, I think probably like 2 years ago, and I got to like near the end of the game, and then there's a spot where you go to the Blue Star Tower or something like that, but basically one of the dungeons near the end of the game. And I was just so burned out on the long dungeons at that point that I actually stopped playing and haven't gone back to it. It's been however long it's been. And there's been a couple times like that. It's just, a lot of games, as they get near the end of it, will slow down on the story and amp up on the gameplay. And I guess the idea is you build up the threat, you have that sense of escalation, your game gets harder, and that's how they represent it. But it just, half the time it feels like it just burns me out and makes me stop playing it.
Yeah, I know that at least for a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei games in particular, they just, especially near the end, there's no story, there's no nothing.
Right.
You have your dungeon and then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were several games where I just stopped bothering entirely just because of that.
Right. And some of them are kind of like that one dungeon. It's like when you have to replay the game, you really don't want to go through it. So it's like, is it worth seeing the rest of the content? Nice. Is it worth seeing the rest of the content if it means going through that again? And sometimes no.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one reason why I didn't really bother replaying some of the Digital Devil games, like Digital Dungeon Saga. I know, it's Digital Devil Saga, but y'all don't know how many dungeons there are.
Yeah, that's the not affectionate at all game name I started calling it.
Right. Oh boy. But yeah, even if I had the opportunity, I would likely never play it again. Simply, good golly. Simply because there were so many dungeons I just did not want to do.
Right, yeah.
which I think is sad because, you know, for a lot of those games, they, you know, it's kind of a self-inflicted injury. Like, they didn't have to make it all dungeon all the time.
Hien actually said that the SMT final dungeons especially are slogs, and then actually, as you were saying it, he chimed in with Digital Saga 2 is probably the worst of them all. The final dungeon's just awful.
Yeah,
Yep.
It is awful. I think that's one of the... Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually beaten Digital Devil Saga 2. I beat 1, but 2 I just... Yeah.
It doesn't help, too, that they kill off some characters right at the end, and it's like going out of business sale.
Right. Well, I mean, all of them do die.
Right.
I don't think that's a spoiler because not only because nobody's going to play it if they haven't already, but also just the fact that, yeah, it is very dark. Everybody dies. Just get used to it.
Right.
But yeah, just, you know, the biggest part for me was that there was one character in there in particular that I had really gotten into, and I really liked the story of him. And he's one of the first ones gone.
Right.
It's like, well...
2's final dungeon is horrendous, Keen concurs, one was much easier to navigate, and had a much better soundtrack.
Yeah, that is actually very true.
But I know in my case, like I watched Ben play Persona 3 through, and then when we got Fez, and I played it, and we got all the way up to the end, and I decided I wanted to see the new Aegis social link.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, okay, there's a little pause there. I thought we were about to load a cutscene.
Nope.
But I said I wanted to see the Ion social link with Aegis. And so we go through there, and it turns out that, you know, I was like, I ended up like 2 days short. Like I wasn't able to finish Mitsuru's social link, and he was my favorite. So with the 1-2 punch of that, and knowing how much of a nightmare the end of the Tartarus is, I just decided not to finish it.
Right.
So yeah, we have a well, I don't know if we still do. I don't know the state of our PS2 memory cards, but I'm pretty sure I've got a save there in like January like 18th. Yeah, less said about Tartarus, the better, right?
Yeah. I
like parts of it, but
I think I liked the idea much more than the execution.
Right.
Like the idea that, you know, basically there is a time in the world where everything just changes.
Right.
You know, that's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, the idea of the time outside of time is pretty cool.
Right.
You know.
And then it was just, yeah. You all know.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're really onto something. The idea that, you know, for a lot of it, there's just, you know, there's only so many ideas you can run with.
Right.
And what on earth?
It's one of those Ursa things.
Right.
Ursa Rage.
We must understand its Ursa Rage. Despite all its Ursa Rage, it's still just a bear in a cage. Okay, I think I'm done. But, yeah, making dungeons is so much easier than making storyline or things like that.
Right.
So you can just, you know, pop in an extra hour worth of gameplay and call it done.
Right. And there's also the thing...
I think...
Nope. It's taking longer to load the dungeons. Probably there's so many more enemies active at the time.
Could be. You were saying?
But, yeah, I think it's just the fact that as there is that gradual need of escalation, you have to make the game more difficult, you know, as you're getting to the end of it. And there is an element of games that actually have a strong focus on gameplay to basically, and you can kind of see it with going layabout ring, nice, with you know, for example, a lot of the old school, a lot of old school games. It's like you gradually get, you know, you learn your character gets more tools, you get more power ups, you get more, and like in the Metroidvanias especially, you get more stuff. And then the idea is at the end of it, you force the players to put everything together, and you have a challenge. You can measure it with the abilities at the end. Well, a lot of developers, I think the idea is they feel like they have to do that too, even with games that don't have that focus on gameplay.
Right.
You know, the Dragon Quest games are a good example. I think the earlier ones kind of had the right idea for kind of like testing your endurance and doing that one. But I remember for Dragon Quest VIII, if I didn't like the game so much and I really want to see it, I wouldn't have finished it. And as it is, I played through, I think I've beaten the game 4 times. I've done the post-game once. It's It's just more of the same, unless you're really, really invested in it. Yeah, and likewise with Dragon Quest IX, it's like the entire point of that game. It was like the main game.
I know that's just going to loop around, so let's not do that.
Right, yeah, basically the main game is one of the shorter ones, especially compared to 8. And the idea is that you will spend hours and hours, possibly dozens or hundreds of hours, in the post game, going to legacy dungeons and fighting, the versions of new versions of old bosses balanced around like epic teams. And I was seeing stuff on GameFAQs, so it's like you have to have Force, or that game's by kill. You have to have a team that does this. You have to have your elemental stuff all in a row, and it was just so disheartening that they basically it wasn't really the same term for it, but I was kind of thinking of it as a DLCification of Dragon Quest. They balance stuff around all of this optional post-game super hard content you have to do in a certain way, and I hated it, and I haven't even looked at getting 10. And it's like there was a time when it would be Wayne's not going to play Dragon Quest. It's unthinkable, but
right.
It's like when we do get a 3DS, probably for Rune Factory or 4 or whatever. I'm not planning on getting 10. It's just not unless they fix that. Hien says the crappy dungeons are easy to make. Good ones like Etrian Odyssey take a lot of work and thought. Of course, Etrian Odyssey is kind of like a callback to the old school dungeon crawlers. I mean, it is a dungeon game. There's no story to excise in the first place, so that's a little bit different.
Yay.
I do have a soft spot for those games. Like I think I've mentioned that Dragon Quest III is still one of my favorites, but yeah, I think the game. I only play games like that for nostalgia values. That's why I never really got into the Etrian games.
Right. And for me personally, I was never really that into those kinds of games.
Right.
I don't think I even beat the original Dragon Quest when Wayne had, just because I tried a little bit. And it's like, I have to just wander around the field forever.
Right.
Then I was just completely uninterested.
Mm-hmm. Now, it is funny. It's like it is funny because if the Etrian games had more of the non-gameplay stuff I liked, I probably would like them, because I know in the Final Fantasy II stream, I talked about how if there was a way to basically have a game that was entirely hard encounters, like when you go to Castle Eblon early and you have the trap tests and everything, I said I'd be interested in playing that kind of game. That's basically what they are. It's a very hard game that's very precisely balanced, but it's just not enough else there to it.
He says there's actually a story of the series suggested to be subdued, not really in your face, and the characters are all generic ciphers.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Instead of having a
Jupiel, Ariel, are you two all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yes, I am fine. Something like this should not force me to rest.
No secrets. Tell me the truth. Ariel, will your body still hold up?
No secrets, huh? To tell you the truth, the effects of the emergency measure wore off quite a while ago.
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Well, we already know the answer to that question.
Knowing that would just slow you down. Plus, it's too late to turn back now. This is the only way we have left to defeat Letitia.
I know that, but...
Sir Shin, please focus on the battle so that you can save Celestia. No, save the world.
Save all the worlds.
That's right. Let's give that spoiled kid who's acting like she's the god of destruction a good beating. That's the duty of an adult.
So the moral of this story, because of both of the parent-child interactions, is if you just beat your child, things will be okay.
Yeah, King. What I mean was that for games like that, I would probably be more interested in it if it had a traditional like a fleshed out cast, like I meant, like for Dragon Quest VIII, like I was saying, instead of the generic ones.
So I'm reasonably sure there's going to be a boss in this area.
Oh yeah.
Might as well go for it now.
Yeah, I have not actually played this one.
Yep. We are finally out of Wayne's sphere of experience. And you would not believe how hard it was for me to convince him to not rush ahead.
Nag. No, I actually volunteered when we got there. It's like, if we're near the end of the game, I should probably stop playing.
You
Like,
volunteered in the same sense of people who were drafted.
I could have played it and not told you.
Yeah, but you knew what would have happened.
Get your moon runes back. Dominato is a pretty good name.
I agree.
Tycoon, oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh dear.
And that expression Ariel has when an enemy goes berserk is just great.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people say this is my shocked face sarcastically.
Right. That actually is her shocked face. Okay. Go ahead and put that.
It's kind of funny that
back on.
her damage output is so high that the Ursa enemies aren't much of a threat anymore.
Right. So yeah, time used to be that just because they could last so long, they were such a problem. But now that isn't quite the case.
I'm kind of surprised they still exist.
Oh, right. They can attack on diagonals.
Because I had thought that the dinosaur enemies replaced them. Because we haven't seen them in a couple dungeons.
They kind of fill the same role. I think the primary difference is that the dinosaur enemies are more attack-based, and the Ursa enemies seem to be more defense-based.
True.
Like, it's a very minor difference, I think, but it is still there.
Yeah. Larg? Oh, Largrippo. Yeah. You get the griffin part.
Right.
Nice. The ventriloquist.
Huh. Yeah.
You have your slasher sword.
Yes. So we have established.
Alright.
Yeah, originally I was... I just don't think I'm going to bother.
That's a pretty big snoot on those guys now.
Yeah, it's like it's gotten bigger every time we've seen a new one.
Oh, Sirius, he is gone.
Yep. Nag.
Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
There it is. Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be, I think, twice about using our usual tactic for that thing, as long as that's kicking in. Huh. I guess one way to do it.
Yeah, I could have just done the shuffle step thing. I was just really worried about something coming in to hem me in.
Sure.
Because there are a lot of enemies in this area.
I can understand that. Big pill.
A big pill.
I was sure to drink plenty of water to make sure you don't get that caught in your throat.
Let's see. It just links that way. Arg.
Speaking of throat, I've had a sore throat probably since, well, kind of ever since Thursday or so. And I kind of like, I keep waiting for it to either get worse and be like the harbinger of a terrible like flu or something, like it sometimes it does. But as it is, it just
it just seems to be kind of a mild aggravation.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I've been doing some more of those voice warm up things. Do the face stretches and kind of warm your vocal cords up, start at a low pitch, and then go up and then down and vice versa. Oh dear, maybe teleport without destination.
No, I'll be doing this number.
Oh yeah, that's one of the rare times it's actually really, really good.
See, that's the entire reason that particular move exists.
Right.
It's like it doesn't always help, but when it does, it saves your bacon.
Right. You like how the dinosaur is holding back the griffin thing there. But yeah, if they're doing all that stuff, it usually helps my throat enough to stream for a while, but I wish it would either get worse or get better.
Yeah, the fact that it's really just doing neither is kind of an aggravation.
Shouldn't be controlled.
Okay, let's go ahead and put on the healing ring, so I am fully prepared for whatever it is we fight,
Right.
if anything.
I'm nice to carry that over.
Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Right. It may not be a boss for this one, maybe for the next one instead.
Well, I thought the idea was that we were having to fight her core, and then we could fight the vile god Letitia. There we go.
The caramel center. Speaking of the shuffle step.
There we go.
All right. Nope.
Nope. Well, it was good practice.
Fair enough.
In which case, I kind of wish I hadn't used my defense booster, but whatever.
That's not like, you know, we're out of those things.
Actually, you know what? I think I will go with it. Gorsh.
Oh, it didn't reflect.
Huh.
Wonder if they're immune to that now.
You wouldn't think that would be possible, but...
Oh, it's, do you think your shield by accident? Because yeah, you're no longer reflecting anything. Oh, yep, you took it off.
Huh. How did that happen?
It might have hit the wrong button.
Maybe. Huh.
Exactly. Break through the crunchy evil exterior to get to the chewy, vile nougat center.
Stall accessory. Somehow I don't think that's something I'll be wanting.
Right.
But we shall see.
That'd be something that interacts with haste and slow.
It could possibly just slow you entirely. Who knows? Whatever it is, it does not sound good.
Right.
Well, since I know now that there's no reason not to.
Right. Oh, yeah. Guess that one up there must be asleep.
Yeah.
It's a shame we've never gotten a T-Rex enemy to go to its full power. Because they don't really do anything special. Yeah, I was kind of hoping the first time we went into them to power up, it would have been like the Goliaths in Borderlands too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, nothing like that.
Okay, let's try this again.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
Oh, makes sense. Nuke that one.
Nice.
That it was actually a correct statement. I'm
Right.
proud of myself.
Yeah. So it's like calling your swing into left field there. Like, yeah, nuke that one indeed.
And yeah, I'm full up on items, so might as well just go for it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Dungeon cleared!
It's a little victory jig.
Yeah, I was expecting to have to fight the
This
core.
appears to be the deepest part.
Come on out, Letitia. You're here, right?
Ollie Ollie oxen free.
Congratulations.
There we are.
So you've gained
You're the
enough
10,000th
power
visitor,
to make
too.
it all the way here. As expected of you.
Even though you're like totally panicking in your mind, are
Like
you
totally
really not
panicking.
the least bit worried that we might defeat you?
Of course not. Even though I've had to scrape my powers off the seal, you guys have no chance of defeating me with your current power level.
In your current state.
Also, at least for your two attendants, they've already reached their limits, yeah?
I'm
What
kind
do
of glad
you
they had that
mean?
cutscene to point that out.
You guys
It's like
are
the
the
fact
ones
that
who
they're in
know
a
the
pretty
most
bad way,
about
too.
it. You should be barely standing. It's almost a miracle we're having this conversation.
Yeah, pretty much.
You two will have completely eroded into aberrations soon enough.
Ariel, like, totally gone Valley
Do you
Girl.
really think I'd fall for such an obvious stall tactic?
Well,
Feel
about
free to
that.
think I'm only lying.
Sir Shin, do not get confused. We are fine. Please hurry up and finish off Letitia. Shin, don't worry about it. We are... Ugh.
Ariel!
Look, as you can see, their lives are hanging by a thread.
Miss... Ari...
Jupil!
That's the wrong sound
Power of
effect.
the
Yeah.
crystal is eroding them away. They've already reached their limit. What's going to happen if you use enough power to defeat someone like me? You can imagine, right? If you wield the power any longer, these two will completely turn into aberrations. If you're fine with that, do what you'd like.
Wayne
It's
is
not fair.
forcibly avoiding trying to make D&D
The
jokes.
Count
I can see it on his
of
face.
It was originally Ariel Agarier's fault. It's not like I did anything. There's only one way to save them, and that is for you to join me as an ally.
So half
Why
your
don't you
soul.
stop being so stubborn and join me already? If you do, I can stop the erosion. I've already proven that I can do it.
You can offer, you can't refuse. It's true, if he fights and it doesn't work out, then they all die.
Right.
Have they explained what they
What are you
mean by
doing,
what the
Shin
what the
Kamikaze?
Yes.
Inukami, why are you here?
Isn't that obvious? I came
Someone's
here
being
so
a
that you
spineless
can have
coward.
more
It's time for me to
decisive
appear.
Well, it's been a long 14 chapters, but the real protagonist is finally.
Troublesome has once again appeared.
Why are you
Like,
hesitating before
imagine with
your
that splat sound
enemy?
that
You came
Ariel
here
is
to
practically
defeat
literally
Letitia.
scraping herself off the
Yes.
floor to deliver a burn on Hien.
Right.
Situation's not that simple. To defeat Letitia, I will have to abandon the people who are most important to me.
I see. Interesting. So you're saying that
Garrot.
those two over there are more important to you
Is
than
that all the
destruction
power
of
you
the
have?
Fine then. Stand back.
What are you gonna do?
Those two are burdens for you, yes? I'm going to
Oh,
lighten
God.
the way.
Use the pain of loss, Shin Kamikaze.
The power of healing? Didn't you choose not to use the power of
Oh,
angels?
drat. I was expecting him to take
finish
the
them
other.
off.
It's impossible to heal them completely in that case.
What are you thinking? You should have no reason to save them.
You're exactly right. Power used not for the sake of yourself, but for the sake of others. I just want to know what that power is like.
How foolish. Would you die for the same reason?
Power used for the sake of others. Where does the strength of that power come from? At the time. when
Too
I
busy
saved that
musing
human,
to pay attention to
I
Letitia's
definitely
threat.
felt something. Just a little more. Just a little more, and I feel like I will be able to grasp something. Something that I don't yet have.
It's a shame, because in his old form, he basically would have said, I don't think you can beat me.
Right.
It got reflected?
You dodged?
It is not effective at all?
Delete.
Well, that didn't work.
I've pierced through him, including the crystal. All done.
What the heck? For Hien to be so easily...
This is freaking Dragon Ball.
Right.
The new villain defeats the old
I'm
villain.
not finished yet. Just a little more. Just a little more, and I feel like I can grasp it.
He points out that Hien should be used to reflected attacks.
Still going
The
on.
irony.
You don't even have the crystal.
As long as my limbs remain, I can
Wait a minute. Your heart's gone as long as I've got my arm.
Great. It's a waste of time. You won't be able to defeat me.
Hien, why did you go so far? Even in this condition.
I was about to understand about what you said. What power is that is used for the sake of others. I only pursued power and believed that was everything. It made me like a machine, a mere wooden doll.
And I always use power to help somebody else and got
I
smacked
lost
down.
to you, I started to understand a little at a time.
I
The
guess.
reason I couldn't
Remember,
defeat
power
you.
is not the important thing here.
Don't talk anymore.
Shin, I shall give you my power. This is the power of the angel that was residing within me. The power to heal various things.
Various things.
Various things.
Be both
And Hien's heart
physical
grew
and
3 sizes that day,
mental,
and then
instead
got
of
wiped
me.
out.
For someone you want to save, use it.
Hien.
One last thing.
But he shouldn't be able to do that with the crystal. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
With you.
What's so funny?
The healing ability that you have inherited from Hien. If you use that, you can prevent the counterflow of the crystal. If you enter their spirit worlds and close the hole that's causing the erosion, you will be able to completely fix it.
Why would you tell me that? Isn't that inconvenient for you?
Not really. To me, those two are the foundations for making you God. They're merely sacrifices. Their deaths won't affect your abilities as God. Also, even if you can fix them, it's only a matter of time until they become aberrations.
Don't tell me!
Considering their time left, you will only be able to save one of them.
Oh, I see.
Liar!
That's
Nothing
why
could
she's
possibly be
amused.
that ridiculous!
If you choose to think it's a lie, go ahead. But if you continue to leave it alone like
I was
this...
starting to say earlier, have they explained actually what kind of aberration from the...
No.
I didn't think so.
I think we're supposed to assume something like the
Sir
Nephilim,
Shin.
but
Please
I thought
do
they were
not
just going
mind
to
us
die.
and defeat Letitia. This is our last chance. That's right. This too is a stall tactic. If the magic circle seal were to break, the world will be destroyed. Don't mind us. Just defeat Letitia.
I have been trying to encourage your awakening, but those two are totally in my way. However, if I just kill them,
True
you
despair.
won't feel
shall I
true
give you
despair.
despair?
Oh, but what if you can't save them, even if you try your best? You might feel despair for how weak your own power is. I will completely repaint you in the pitch darkness and drop you to the complete depths of despair. Then, I will get everything I want. Choose whichever one you want.
We'll
I'll
watch
just
that
watch. I swear I
Danganronpa
won't
LP,
disturb you.
and that's the motivation of the main
I'm
villain
looking
to drive
forward to
humanity
this.
to despair.
Which one will you pick?
Alright, Chad, I get the feeling we're getting a moral choice here. So be prepared to choose which waifu you want to save.
Be prepared. Oh, not this time
Oh.
at least.
Well, next chapter then. Yes, be prepared, because I'm certain that this is going to be a thing.